In the Academy class, you are the character in the story. Much like how in many modern video games and tabletop games, you are creating a character at the beginning, choosing their strengths and weaknesses, background information, sometimes just what team they're going to be on. But you are creating that character so you have a little bit more buy in, I guess, to the story that's going to be happening as it goes forward. Pretty soon in the Academy class, you'll be choosing stats for your character. For this quest, I want you to look a little bit deeper at the stats section. This is an example of a stats section for a tabletop game. In creating their character, they've chosen a few things that their character is going to be particularly good at, and in these blank ones, areas that they don't have any skill in. Over the course of the game that they'll play, using this chart for the skills, they can work together with other people who are playing the game to determine what they can do, what things they might be best at trying to attempt, whereas the other characters might be stepping in to cover for their weaknesses. For the various characters in the Academy, the background characters, I guess, I've created these character pages that look a little bit like yours. They have abilities that the characters have that specifically tie into their character class or what they're good at. This character is a Beastmaster, so they have the ability to calm enemies, monsters, animals, things like that. They have the ability to attack with their beast companion, and they have the ability to do a wolf call, which does a couple different things during the course of a battle. You'll also see, although it's partially covered up over here, their bonus skills chart, and this is another thing that'll come into play for this quest. Just like this page, which you'll have some examples on in the slideshow ahead that you can look off of and use as models, I want you to create a few of these for some famous people that tie in to your subject area that you're studying. So this character is a Beastmaster. Doing this for language arts, I might choose some of the famous poets and writers and people like that we've talked about. Here's an example of one done for the night class or for social studies. I created a character page for George Washington. Note how I've changed the name next to night down here to George Washington. Note how I've changed a couple of the abilities that you would see on other night class sheets to deal specifically with him and his talents as somebody who was a general and an important figure in the American Revolution. Inspire and United We Stand are examples of where I changed things for him. In the bonus skills chart over here, I have a certain amount of points that I can assign for the person that I'm creating. You can see that I put he was particularly high in history, myth, and legend. I put more points into speech and performance because he was somebody that was a very, very good speaker. It's one of the things I looked up and made sure it was something, he was very inspirational. He also spoke a little bit of different languages, so I put a few extra points in there. Every character has a table of bonus skills like we looked at. You're going to fill this out after you've learned a little about that person, that historical figure. George Washington's speech skill is higher because it was something that he was considered a skilled speaker at. Here's the tricky part. You can only spread out 20 skill points. Choose wisely where you put them. So whatever character you have, you can only have these numbers adding up to 20. So what you want to do is try to tie them into that character a little bit. If it's somebody who's really, really good at technology, maybe it's somebody who's a modern figure in that field, then maybe you've got a lot of points there and you've got the rest of the points kind of spread out in the other categories. So that's the bonus skills section. This will become relevant for your character in the Academy soon too. From here on in this slideshow, you can use the resources to create your own 3 characters. Think famous and important people that tie to the subject area you are studying, both from history and today. Do research on these people first. Learn about them and create 3 unique character sheets to them. Feel free to use Canva or other outside resources to help in your design. If you want to do this on paper, you want to make your own art and upload it, you can do that too. To achieve mastery and receive credit for this quest, you have to create 3 characters. Duplicate the starter card sheets you'll see next. Delete the ones for other classes and subject areas. Include all details from the sample cards, things like name, their health meter, the little circles, abilities, etc. I'm going to show you some samples real quick after we get through this. Describe your character, their abilities, and why you made some of the design choices you did on the character description page. This is a blank page for a ranger. So let's say that I wanted to create something for my ranger class. somebody who was important in science. I won't do all parts of this, but let's say I did Albert Einstein. What I can do next is I can scroll down. Right now I've left everything pretty blank, but Albert Einstein I don't think is somebody who would be particularly great in battle, so I'm not going to give him a lot of health. Sorry, Albert Einstein. Hopefully you don't run into too many monsters. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to give him 3 of these little circles, which can be marked off to determine how much health he has. I am going to go through the bonus skills section. I might look up information and find out that Albert Einstein spoke multiple languages. In fact, German, English, French, and Italian. And while I would want to fact check that, for this example, I'm not going to, and I'm going to give him a really high amount of points for that. Now, I only have 20 that I can spread out, so I've already used 7. I have 13 left, so maybe I go through and I found out that he loves nature, he was a bird watcher or something. I go through and I fill this out so that he's got the full 20-point spread. This section is probably the most relevant to you doing some research about that person. There's going to be one segment later on where you need to describe why you assigned these, so pay attention and don't just randomly type numbers in, since you'll kind of need to back that up a little bit. I'm going to try to find a picture for him. I could probably do so on Canva pretty easily. You can find another picture, go up to Insert, Image, search the web, and find an image of Albert Einstein to put in there. That would probably be fine. I'm betting that I'm going to get, the funny picture of him sticking his tongue out. I might find a better one, remove the background and stuff like that, but that's good for our example. Another thing that I'm going to do is to try to come up with abilities or attacks and things for that character. I've put some blank ones here. You can look at these non-playable characters here and see some of theirs. Note how they tie in specifically to what class or what area they are. I did one for Mark Twain down here. He's got a couple specific ones. The jumping frog ability, and it describes it, and the smooth talker. Feel free to be creative on those, but essentially I can use this, copy it, take it up here, paste it, and then I can begin inserting text in and building my character a little bit more. You'll need to play with this a little bit to get it to fit in nicely, although I'm not expecting perfection here. Maybe I put the ability as atomic theory, and I go in and I make that to where he has some sort of particular skill with making potions or something. You'll find some to be easier to make than others. Taylor Swift, of course, is a bard. I gave her the ability Billionaire. She's able to unlock any treasure chest outside of battle by using this ability. Note that you'll need to make 3 characters total. So I've got Einstein. I would need to flesh out a little bit more here. Once you're done with your 3 characters, go ahead and delete the other ones that you don't need. Then you're going to go down to this last section here. It asks you to describe the first, second, and third characters that you created. Give a little bit of information. Why did you give them certain stats, higher levels, rather than others? Go ahead and give me a little bit of historical information about that character. And that's all you have to do for Quest 1. When you've completed it, you can turn it in on Google Classroom and then turn in your sheet, your quest sheet for Quest 1 to show that you've finished it. Good luck.